And you can't look down to read the speech. You have to take the speech up. Because if you did, your neck would break, or it'd fall off.
The end of an era often comes quietly, without warning. For Queen Elizabeth II, it happened within the walls of Balmoral Castle, far from the eyes of the world she had served for over 7 decades. In what would be her final phone call, her voice carried a weight that only a few would ever understand. The words she spoke weren't just simple goodbyes. They held something deeper, something that left even those closest to her in shock. What did she say in those last moments? And why has it sent ripples through those who heard it? This wasn't just another conversation. It was a glimpse into something far more unexpected, something that still raises questions. The final days of Queen Elizabeth II. Queen Elizabeth II, a symbol of steadfast leadership, grace, and resilience, reigned for more than 7 decades. But as we entered 2022, a noticeable shift began. The world watched with growing concern as news outlets reported on her declining health. It seemed as though the woman who had led Britain through history's most significant events was, at long last, facing her own inevitable challenge: age. But what really happened in those final days? Could anyone have predicted how swift it would all unfold? In the months leading up to her passing, Queen Elizabeth's health seemed to decline at an alarming pace, though she never publicly admitted how fragile she had become. Early in 2022, the Queen experienced what many believed to be the first clear signs that her once vibrant energy was starting to fade. She canceled several engagements, including her traditional visit to the annual Remembrance Day service at the cenotaph. The public was told it was due to a back sprain, but many started wondering, could there be more to it? As the months passed, the Queen appeared more frail in her rare public appearances. In February, she made headlines when she tested positive for COVID-19. Was this the tipping point? Could her health deteriorate so quickly from here? It was hard to ignore the rising concern around her age and the fact that she had suffered other health setbacks. Her appearance became noticeably more reserved, her energy level lower than ever before. But through it all, she maintained a calm, steady demeanor that hid what was really going on inside. The media was relentless, closely following every move. Her appearance at her Platinum Jubilee celebrations that June was a powerful moment. There she was, still holding on, greeting the crowds with that iconic smile. But behind that smile, was there a sadness? A weariness? Reports from royal insiders became more frequent in 2022, hinting at concerns for her health. She had always kept a dignified silence about her health, but the media began to speculate. Was her reign really coming to a close? Was her health decline the beginning of the end? The Queen had lived through wars, pandemics, and monumental shifts in history. But as her health started to deteriorate, the thought crept in. Could her ironclad strength really be no match for the frailties of age? Her final public appearance came in October 2022, when she met with then Prime Minister Liz Truss at Balmoral Castle. That moment would soon be remembered not for the meeting itself, but for the fact that it would be her last official engagement. The Queen looked visibly frail, sitting at her desk with a cane beside her. As she exchanged pleasantries with the new Prime Minister, did she know this might be the last time she would make such an appearance? Was she already preparing herself for what was coming? Her decline seemed inevitable, but how sudden it all was caught the world off guard. Just a few days later, in early September 2022, Buckingham Palace released a statement. The Queen's health was deteriorating rapidly, and her family was rushing to her side. The news was devastating. Could anyone have known the gravity of that statement? The world was on edge, but no one could have prepared for what was about to unfold. The royal family's role in her final moments. As the Queen's health continued to fail, her family rushed to Balmoral to be by her side. Prince Charles, now King Charles III, was seen arriving first. The suddenness of it all left people wondering, was this the moment the monarchy would change forever? Princess Anne, her daughter, also arrived shortly after. Prince William and other members of the royal family followed, signaling the importance of the moment. This wasn't just another royal visit. This was a family gathering, united under the heavy weight of impending loss. In those final hours, what did they say to one another? Was there any sense of normalcy as they gathered around their matriarch? Was there time for words of comfort? From the outside, it appeared to be a deeply private and intimate moment. Prince Charles was reportedly seen speaking to his mother for a long while. Was it to seek her blessing before stepping into the most important role of his life? Could he sense the weight of what was about to happen? Perhaps there were no words spoken, just the kind of unspoken understanding that only a mother and son could share in their final moments. Princess Anne, who had always been one of the Queen's most trusted advisors, must have been there, offering quiet support. Her closeness to her mother was evident in the way she always stepped up when duty called. Did Anne know that her mother's reign was about to be over, and that she was next in line to support the family through this monumental shift? In those final moments, it was clear that the royal family understood the enormity of the situation. They were preparing themselves not just for the loss of a monarch, but the loss of a mother, a grandmother, and a great-grandmother. And then, as the clock ticked closer to the inevitable, the rest of the world was left waiting. People could only speculate about what those final moments truly looked like. Were there words of forgiveness, regret, love? Or was it a final, peaceful silence between a mother and her children, knowing that her journey had come to an end? What made Queen Elizabeth II so extraordinary, even in her final days, was the immense strength she displayed, even as her body weakened. Despite her physical decline, the Queen remained a pillar of dignity and resolve. Was it her sense of duty that kept her going? Her unwavering commitment to her country? It was clear that even as she prepared to say goodbye to her life as the longest reigning monarch in history, she was determined to stay in control. In the weeks before her death, her public appearances dwindled. But when she did make an appearance, her composure never faltered. During her final public engagements, she was seen smiling through the pain, offering reassurance to those around her. Even the smallest of gestures, such as her wave or a kind word, seemed to carry a sense of grace that only someone like her could manage. How did she manage to hold on to her composure in such a fragile state? Her strength wasn't just physical. It was emotional and mental. She knew the importance of her role and carried the weight of it with grace until the very end. The Queen's ability to put others before herself, even as she faced her own mortality, was a testament to her character. She did not want to burden anyone with her suffering. Instead, she continued to serve her country, even in her final days. Behind the scenes, it's likely that her family felt a mixture of admiration and sorrow. They must have witnessed firsthand the incredible fortitude with which she faced her decline. But how could they prepare for this inevitable loss, knowing that her sense of duty could never be replicated? Despite all the speculation about her health, Queen Elizabeth remained a model of resilience, showing that even in her most vulnerable moments, she was still the monarch the world had come to admire. Could anyone ever embody such a sense of grace and strength in the face of such personal loss? And as the days went by, her legacy grew stronger. Queen Elizabeth II's final days were a testament to the qualities that made her such an iconic figure in history. What does this tell us about the strength of human spirit, especially when one knows their time is near? In the end, Queen Elizabeth proved to the world that even as the world changes, some things, like duty, love, and grace, remain timeless. The mystery surrounding the final phone call. There's a moment in history that stands out, a moment so charged with significance that its details have left the world in suspense. Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning monarch in British history, passed away on September 8, 2022. And while millions of people around the world mourned her passing, what about the moments before she left this world? Specifically, what was the final phone call she made? Who was on the other end of the line, and what was said? It's a mystery that still has people talking. The moment of her death was not just a loss for her family, but for an entire world that had watched her reign with awe. But what if I told you there was something even more intriguing? A final conversation, a phone call that took place just before the Queen's passing. You might wonder, why has this phone call captured so much attention? Well, The mystery surrounding that call has kept everyone on edge. What was said? Who shared the details, and why? We know about this phone call because of a carefully controlled leak to the media. After her death, the royal family, as always, was careful about what they revealed to the public. In fact, they've maintained a long tradition of keeping the personal moments of the royal family shielded from prying eyes. So, it was only after the announcement of Queen Elizabeth's passing that the world learned that a crucial phone call had taken place on the very day she died. This phone call wasn't just any call. It wasn't the usual daily conversations she might have had with her family or advisors. No, this one was important. It was the final moment of connection between the Queen and someone who could possibly hold the keys to the future of the monarchy. The world would soon learn that this call wasn't just a passing conversation. It was the last words, the last connection between the Queen and someone very close to her. The importance of this phone call wasn't lost on the royal family, nor on the rest of the world. This wasn't just a phone call between two people. It was a moment that would mark the end of an era. It was an intimate final exchange that would be remembered forever. And the fact that it was shared with the public only added to the intrigue. Why was this phone call disclosed? Was it planned? Or was it a moment of vulnerability that we weren't meant to see? It's one of those questions that will linger in the minds of many for years to come. Now, we come to the part that truly sparks curiosity. Who was on the other end of that phone call? You might think it could have been a close confidant, a royal family member, or perhaps even a political leader. But no. What makes this phone call even more fascinating is that the Queen's last phone call was with none other than her son, Prince Charles. The conversation was brief, but it was full of weight. Imagine what it would be like to speak to your mother, knowing it could be the final time you ever hear her voice. There were no theatrics, no dramatic speeches, just a quiet, intimate exchange. Prince Charles, now King Charles III, was at Balmoral Castle in Scotland, where his mother was residing. Queen Elizabeth had been under medical supervision, and her health had been declining rapidly. Yet even in those final moments, she showed the same dignity she had throughout her entire reign. It was said that the call between mother and son was a simple one. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing prepared for public consumption. But what was said in those precious moments? Did Queen Elizabeth express any final thoughts on the monarchy? Did she offer advice or share a heartfelt message to the next generation of royals? Could this final conversation have been filled with more than just formalities? Was there something deeper beneath the surface that we'll never know? These are the questions that continue to hang in the air. What adds to the mystery is that this wasn't the only communication the Queen had that day. Other members of the royal family were informed about her health, and some of them were on their way to Balmoral to be by her side. But it was this one phone call, this final interaction between mother and son, that seemed to carry the most weight. It was as if, in those last moments, the Queen chose her son for a reason. Was it to say goodbye? To pass on a final message? Or was it just a moment of comfort between a mother and her child? The timing of this phone call was even more crucial. It wasn't just any phone call. It happened on the day of her death. Just hours before the world would learn of her passing, Queen Elizabeth spoke to Prince Charles. Could she have known that it was her final moment? Did she sense that this was the last chance she would have to communicate with him? What makes the timing of this call so powerful is the fact that it was so close to the end. The royal family had already gathered, and the world was beginning to prepare for the inevitable. But few knew how close the Queen was to passing away. Did the Queen know? Was this call a final farewell? Or did she still hold on to a glimmer of hope that she might see another day? On the morning of September 8, 2022, reports began circulating that Queen Elizabeth's health had taken a turn for the worse. Doctors were monitoring her closely, and the royal family was alerted to the situation. Yet, as the day wore on, no one quite knew just how quickly things would unfold. Was there a sense of urgency in that phone call? Could anyone have anticipated that this would be the last time they would hear from her? There is something deeply poignant about the timing. Queen Elizabeth was in her final moments, and yet the phone call still occurred. Maybe it was just another ordinary conversation. But then again, could it have been something more? Something that held a deeper significance than we'll ever know? Those final words, spoken over the phone, may have been the last connection she had to the world she ruled for over 7 decades. And now, it's something that we all wonder about. What were the final thoughts of a monarch who had seen it all? Were there regrets? Hopes? Final pieces of wisdom passed on to her heir? As the details about this call remain scarce, the speculation only deepens. Is it possible that we'll never truly know what was said? Or will the truth eventually emerge, further revealing the emotional weight of those final moments? All we have are the fragments of what was shared, and even those are carefully guarded. But as time goes on, the mystery of that final phone call will only continue to haunt us, leaving us to wonder, what did she say? And why was it so important? And there lies the enduring allure of this final phone call. A simple exchange between a mother and son, yet so charged with history, emotion, and legacy. Perhaps we will never know everything that was said. But what we do know is that Queen Elizabeth's last moments, marked by that final call, will continue to resonate for generations to come. What Queen Elizabeth said in the phone call. When the world learned about Queen Elizabeth's final phone call, it felt like we were all peeking into one of the most private and intimate moments of her life. What exactly did she say? What words did the Queen, who spent her life guarding her emotions, choose to speak as her time on this earth came to an end? Could it be that her last words would reveal a side of her we never expected? The shock of her final conversation lies not just in the words themselves, but in the quiet weight of what she chose to express. During this phone call, her son, Prince Charles, was reportedly the one on the other end of the line. Was it just a simple conversation, or did Queen Elizabeth leave behind a message for the future? She spoke to her son, who would soon become the king. But did she express her feelings about her long reign, her family, or even the monarchy itself? Though the full details of the conversation haven't been shared with the public, one thing is certain. Those final words carried an immense emotional weight. Did the Queen, who ruled for 70 years, express any final wishes or concerns about the monarchy's future? From what little we know, her words were likely calm, measured, but packed with unspoken wisdom. The Queen had always been the epitome of strength and stability, so when she spoke during her last moments, it wasn't out of fear or regret. It felt like she was preparing her son for the monumental responsibility ahead. What could she have said that would prepare him for such a challenging role? The tension in those few words could have been the foundation for the legacy of the entire British monarchy. As for the tone of the conversation, there are mixed accounts. Did she sound at peace, ready to go? Or was there an underlying sense of urgency? Some reports suggest that she was composed, almost serene, as if knowing her time had come. But was there a subtle undertone of finality? Something her son could sense but couldn't quite put into words? It's a difficult question to answer, but the fact that the Queen's family remained at her side during those final moments speaks volumes about the gravity of the situation. What about the things left unsaid? Queen Elizabeth was known for her silence as much as her speeches. In those final moments, did she leave behind a powerful message by choosing not to speak? Sometimes, the absence of words can carry more meaning than anything we say aloud. The royal family has remained tight-lipped. But what did they feel when they learned about that final phone call? Could there have been emotions, questions, or even regrets they were left to wrestle with in the silence? What do you think she really meant? Could this call change how we see the final hours of Britain's longest reigning monarch?
Well, Prince Louis' vision has emerged of him absolutely beaming.
In a jaw-dropping royal twist, King Charles III has stunned the world by handing his royal title not to his wife, Queen Camilla, but to his grandson, Prince Louis, and estranged son, Prince Harry. This shocking move has left the palace in chaos, with insiders reporting that Camilla erupted in a fiery tantrum over the decision. Is this a bid to reconcile with Harry, or secure the monarchy's future through young Louis? Let's unravel the drama shaking the very foundation of the royal family. Prince Louis's role in securing the monarchy's future. At just 5 years old, Prince Louis is already being positioned as a key figure in the future of the British monarchy. In a bold and strategic move, King Charles III has reportedly bestowed a significant royal title on his youngest grandson, signaling a calculated effort to ensure the monarchy's survival in an ever-changing world. But what makes Prince Louis so important to the monarchy's future? Is this a move to secure public favor, or is the palace simply preparing for the next generation of leadership? Prince Louis, the youngest child of Prince William and Princess Catherine, has captured public attention with his lively and cheeky personality during royal appearances. His charm and natural charisma make him a relatable and likable figure, something the monarchy desperately needs in a time when younger generations are questioning its relevance. By granting him an early royal title, King Charles is ensuring that Louis will play a central role in shaping the monarchy's image and maintaining its connection with modern audiences. This move is not just about appearances, it's a strategic decision to adapt the monarchy to a rapidly evolving world. With King Charles facing health concerns and public scrutiny of the royal institution at an all-time high, the decision to elevate Louis sends a clear signal. The monarchy is not just preserving tradition, but actively preparing for the future. Louis represents a new generation of royals, one that blends traditional responsibilities with the demands of modern society. Unlike his older siblings, Prince George, who is destined to inherit the throne, and Princess Charlotte, who has recently been honored with the title of Princess Royal, Louis's role within the royal family gives him the flexibility to carve out a unique identity. His upbringing, which balances normal childhood experiences with the inevitable scrutiny of public life, will be crucial in shaping his ability to handle the pressures of royal duties. The decision to elevate Louis also reflects the monarchy's effort to appeal to younger audiences. By investing in the future and positioning Louis as a relatable, modern royal figure, the family is attempting to bridge the gap between tradition and progress. But questions remain. Will Prince Louis embrace the responsibility that comes with his title, or will the pressures of royal life prove too much? And how will this move impact his siblings and their roles within the monarchy? King Charles's bold decision. King Charles III has never been one to shy away from charting new territory, and his latest move has once again proven his willingness to shake up royal traditions. By granting significant titles to two unexpected heirs, his grandson, Prince Louis, and his estranged son, Prince Harry, Charles has sent shockwaves through the monarchy. This decision is not just about titles. It's a calculated step in redefining the monarchy's relevance in a rapidly changing world. But what drove the king to make such a bold choice? Could this be a strategy to modernize the crown? Or will it create more chaos within the royal family? Prince Louis, the youngest of Prince William and Princess Catherine's children, has quickly become a royal favorite thanks to his playful and cheeky demeanor. By granting him a title at such a young age, King Charles is making a clear statement about the future of the monarchy. Louis represents a new generation, one that is expected to bridge traditional royal values with the modern world. This move not only secures the monarchy's continuity, but also ensures that the youngest members of the family will remain in the public spotlight, connecting with newer, younger audiences. However, it's the inclusion of Prince Harry in this decision that has sparked the most controversy. After stepping back from royal duties and publicly criticizing the institution, Harry's relationship with his family has been rocky at best. Yet, King Charles's decision to include him in this significant title-sharing move has left many questioning his motives. Is this an olive branch to reconcile with his son? Or is it a calculated attempt to keep Harry tethered to the monarchy despite his physical and emotional distance? Behind the grandeur of this decision lies a storm of emotions, particularly from Queen Camilla. Reports suggest that Camilla is furious over being left out of the king's plans, feeling undermined in her role as queen consort. Insiders claim that her frustration stems from not being consulted on such a monumental choice, adding fuel to existing tensions within the royal household. This decision also raises compelling questions about the future of the monarchy. Can King Charles truly modernize the institution while maintaining unity within his family? Will this bold move strengthen the monarchy's image, or will it expose deeper cracks in its foundation? The controversial inclusion of Prince Harry. In a royal twist that has left the public and palace insiders divided, King Charles III has reportedly bestowed a significant title upon his estranged son, Prince Harry. This decision, seen by some as a bold act of reconciliation and by others as a risky gamble, has sparked widespread debate. Why would King Charles include Harry, who has distanced himself from the monarchy, in such a monumental move? Does this mark the beginning of healing, or will it reignite tensions within the royal family? Prince Harry's inclusion comes at a time when his relationship with the monarchy is as complicated as ever. Since stepping back from royal duties in 2020 and subsequently airing grievances in interviews, a Netflix docuseries, and his memoir Spare, Harry has become a polarizing figure. For some, he is a symbol of independence and modernity. For others, he represents betrayal of the institution that raised him. King Charles's decision to grant him a significant title raises questions about the motivations behind such a move. Was it a father's attempt to bridge the growing divide between himself and his son? Or a strategic decision to keep Harry tethered to the monarchy despite his physical and ideological separation? Behind palace walls, the reaction to Harry's title has reportedly been less than harmonious. Queen Camilla, insiders claim, is furious about the decision and feels blindsided by the king's actions. She has worked tirelessly to establish her role as queen consort, and this perceived lack of consultation has only added to the tensions within the royal household. Camilla's frustration highlights the ongoing power struggles within the monarchy, where personal relationships often clash with the rigid expectations of royal duty. Public opinion on Harry's inclusion is equally divided. Supporters see it as a bold and modern move by King Charles, an attempt to show that the monarchy is capable of growth and forgiveness. Critics, however, argue that it undermines the institution. Awarding a title to someone who has openly criticized the monarchy could be seen as a sign of weakness, one that threatens the integrity of royal traditions. This decision raises critical questions. Will Prince Harry accept this role, given his complicated feelings toward the monarchy? Could this be the first step toward reconciliation, or will it deepen the existing rift in the royal family? Camilla's reported fury. The royal family is no stranger to drama, but reports of Queen Camilla's fury over King Charles's recent title decisions have added a new layer of tension to the monarchy. King Charles's surprising move to grant significant royal titles to Prince Louis and Prince Harry has caused shockwaves both within and outside the palace. While some view the decision as a bold step toward modernization, others see it as the spark that may ignite deeper family divisions. But why is Camilla reportedly so angry? Is this about her role as queen consort being undermined? Or is there more to the story? Insiders claim that Camilla was blindsided by King Charles's decision to transfer these titles, a move she reportedly had no say in. For a woman who has worked tirelessly to cement her position as queen consort, this lack of consultation feels like a slap in the face. Camilla has spent years earning public acceptance, transitioning from a controversial figure in royal history to a respected member of the monarchy. Being excluded from such a monumental decision has apparently left her feeling disrespected and undermined within the royal hierarchy. Adding fuel to the fire is the inclusion of Prince Harry in this title-sharing arrangement. Harry's strained relationship with the royal family, following his departure from royal duties and his public criticisms, has made him a divisive figure. For Camilla, the decision to honor Harry may feel like a betrayal, particularly given his past remarks about her in interviews and his memoir. The queen consort's reported fury likely stems from the perception that her years of effort to stabilize the royal family are being overshadowed by a decision that could reignite old tensions. Camilla's reaction also highlights the ongoing power struggles within the monarchy. As King Charles attempts to bridge tradition and progress, his actions are inevitably causing rifts among those who prefer the old ways of doing things. Camilla, who has been a steady supporter of royal tradition, may see these sudden shifts as destabilizing to the institution she has worked hard to uphold. Clash between tradition and modernization. The British monarchy has long been a symbol of tradition, but in recent years, the institution has faced growing pressure to adapt to a rapidly changing world. This tension between preserving age-old customs and embracing modern values has never been more evident than in the recent decisions by key members of the royal family. From King Charles's bold moves to Princess Anne's historic handover of her cherished Princess Royal title to young Princess Charlotte, The monarchy is walking a fine line between its storied past and an uncertain future. But can the royal family truly balance tradition with progress? Or are these changes risking the very fabric of the institution? One of the most striking examples of this clash lies in Princess Anne's unprecedented decision to pass down her Princess Royal title to her 9-year-old grandniece, Princess Charlotte. Traditionally reserved for the eldest daughter of the monarch, this title represents service, commitment, and continuity within the royal system. Princess Anne's tenure as Princess Royal has been marked by tireless dedication, making her decision to transfer the role to such a young royal a bold and symbolic gesture. It's a move that honors tradition, while pushing forward a new vision of gender equality and modernization within the monarchy. Similarly, King Charles III has made waves with his recent title transfers, elevating both his grandson, Prince Louis, and his estranged son, Prince Harry. These decisions have sparked debates about the monarchy's willingness to embrace change. Prince Louis's title is seen as a strategic investment in the monarchy's future, positioning him as a relatable figure for younger generations. On the other hand, Prince Harry's inclusion, despite his departure from royal duties and public criticism of the institution, highlights the complexities of modern family dynamics within the monarchy. These acts of modernization, however, have not come without controversy. Queen Camilla's reported frustration over being excluded from these decisions underscores the internal tensions within the royal family. Critics argue that these changes might alienate traditionalists who value the monarchy's adherence to its time-honored customs. At the heart of this clash between tradition and modernization lies a pivotal question. Can the monarchy remain relevant in a world that increasingly values progress over pageantry? With younger generations less enamored by the monarchy's pomp and ceremony, the royal family is under immense pressure to adapt. Questions of reconciliation. In a palace filled with centuries-old traditions and modern-day controversies, the relationship between King Charles III and his younger son, Prince Harry, remains one of the most talked-about royal dramas of our time. With Harry stepping away from royal duties and making explosive claims about the monarchy, the rift between father and son has only deepened. But King Charles's recent decision to grant a significant royal title to Harry has raised eyebrows and sparked speculation about reconciliation. Is this a step toward healing the fractured bond, or is it just a calculated move to keep Harry tied to the institution he once criticized? At the heart of this story lies a complicated relationship. Harry's departure from royal life in 2020, alongside his wife, Meghan Markle, was seen by many as a turning point for the monarchy. From his explosive interviews to his tell-all memoir, Spare, Harry has not held back in airing grievances about his upbringing, the royal institution, and even his father. For King Charles to now include Harry in such a monumental decision sends a mixed message. Is the king looking to mend ties with his son? Or is this an attempt to reframe Harry's role within the monarchy despite their differences? King Charles's decision has not been without criticism. Within the palace, reports suggest that Queen Camilla is furious about Harry's inclusion in the title-sharing arrangement. The move has reportedly left her feeling sidelined and excluded, sparking tensions behind closed doors. Camilla's frustrations highlight the challenges of reconciling family dynamics with the responsibilities of leading a centuries-old institution. Public opinion on the matter is equally divided. For some, this decision represents a father's olive branch to his son, an attempt to heal wounds that have been exposed to the world. For others, it's seen as a risky gamble that could backfire, further straining relationships within the family and damaging the monarchy's image. The bigger question, however, is whether Harry himself will embrace this gesture. Will he see it as an opportunity to rebuild bridges, or will he view it as a hollow attempt to control the narrative? Reconciliation is not just a matter of titles. It requires trust, understanding, and a willingness to move forward. A tall order for a family that has been at the center of public scrutiny for decades. Public reaction. The British royal family is no stranger to public scrutiny, but the recent developments surrounding King Charles's bold decisions and Princess Anne's historic shift have sparked widespread reactions. From granting unexpected royal titles to Prince Harry and Prince Louis to the surprising transfer of the Princess Royal title from Princess Anne to 9-year-old Princess Charlotte, these moves have left royal watchers divided. But what do these changes mean for the future of the monarchy? Are these strategic moves to modernize the institution? Or are they missteps that risk alienating the public? Public reaction to these royal shakeups has been a mix of excitement, skepticism, and curiosity. For many, the idea of Prince Louis, at just 5 years old, being given a significant royal title, is both charming and strategic. His cheeky demeanor and natural charisma have already made him a fan favorite, and supporters view this as a way to secure the monarchy's future by connecting with younger generations. Similarly, Princess Charlotte's elevation to Princess Royal has been praised as a progressive move, signaling the monarchy's growing emphasis on gender equality and modern values. By passing down her cherished title, Princess Anne has not only honored tradition, but also paved the way for Charlotte to become a prominent figure in the royal family's evolving narrative. However, not all reactions have been positive. The inclusion of Prince Harry in King Charles's title transfers has sparked considerable debate. Some see it as a heartfelt olive branch from a father hoping to reconcile with his son, while others view it as a controversial choice that undermines the monarchy's integrity. After all, Harry has been vocal in his criticism of the royal family and has deliberately distanced himself from royal duties. Critics argue that granting him a title sends mixed messages and could damage the monarchy's image among those who value its traditions. Then there's the reported backlash within the palace itself, with Queen Camilla allegedly furious over these decisions. Her frustration has only added to the drama, prompting questions about the monarchy's unity and decision-making process. For some members of the public, these internal tensions make the monarchy appear fragile at a time when it needs to project strength and stability. Camilla's power struggles. Queen Camilla's journey within the British royal family has never been smooth, but recent events have reportedly left her feeling more sidelined than ever. With King Charles III making bold decisions, such as granting significant royal titles to Prince Louis and Prince Harry, Camilla's frustrations are said to be boiling over. Her reported fury over being excluded from these monumental choices has sparked questions about her influence as queen consort. Is Camilla being left out of the royal decision-making process? Or is this part of a larger struggle for power within the monarchy? Camilla has worked tirelessly to earn her place in the royal family. Once a controversial figure due to her relationship with Charles during his marriage to Princess Diana, she has spent years reshaping her public image. Her ascension to queen consort following Queen Elizabeth II's passing was a major milestone, symbolizing her acceptance into the royal fold. Yet, reports suggest that King Charles's recent decisions, made without her consultation, have left her feeling undermined. The inclusion of Prince Harry in the title-sharing arrangement has reportedly been a major point of contention. Harry's public criticism of the royal family, particularly in his memoir Spare, painted an unflattering picture of Camilla, referring to her as the villain and accusing her of trying to improve her public image at his expense. For Camilla, Charles's decision to honor Harry with a title may feel like a betrayal, reigniting old wounds and questioning her standing within the family. To add to the tension, Charles also elevated his young grandson, Prince Louis, to a prominent position within the monarchy. While this move is widely seen as a step to modernize the royal family and secure its future, Camilla's reported exclusion from the decision hints at a deeper issue: her role in shaping the monarchy's trajectory. As queen consort, Camilla likely expected to have a say in such significant matters, and being left out has only fueled speculation about her influence, or lack thereof.